Good evening, everyone. We are live for the Monday meetup. And my name is Carlene. This is my channel, C with C. I don't go live every Monday, but every Monday you give content, whether it be a live stream or you get a video premiere. And I was so excited to release my celebration key vlog yesterday. I did not, I was like, ooh, do I premiere it today or do I release it tomorrow and do like the whole premiere chat with you all? But I was just so excited to release it that I got it out the way. So that means I have to live stream with you all because that means every Monday we have some sort of content coming your way. And so today I'm just going to recap. I know I wasn't live last Monday because I had just got back from Carnival Conquest Celebration Key, which usually doesn't stop me from going live. But I was just like, take a pause for the cause, take a break. So whenever I got home on Monday, I just like laid it on down. And then I was back and forth between whether I'm going to have a live stream or do a premiere today. So I didn't even schedule this. However, I'll be sure to schedule next week's live, which is a big trip announcement. But today we're just going to get caught up on the content I released and say hello to you guys who are popping in. I know, unannounced. Shout out to the real ones who can find the live when I don't schedule it. You are the OG. So first we have Ken Hill saying, "Hey, pretty eyes." Hi, Ken. I saw you made it to your first Melanin at Sea, which was on Carnival Celebration. I hope that you found it to be as a rewarding experience as I have. Looks like you all had fun. I was tuned into all the content that was being released on the Facebook group, and those fans were cute. I love the fans. And I was just curious to see how the group enjoyed Celebration Key. So I was logged into everybody's content related to Celebration Key. And welcome eight people. My name is Carlene. This is my channel, See with C, and this is the Monday Meetup, where every Monday at 7 p.m. you get some content. And today we are catching up on some of the things I released. So if you all have been hanging out with the channel, I went hard in the paint on Celebration Key. I can answer any questions that you might have about that experience. And then you all may or may not saw I released a video related to a big announcement, a surprise invite. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how that invite happened because I think I left out a lot of details. Alrighty. So let's see who else we got in here and see who are hellos. Hey, Paul. Paul just wrapped up his live stream at 6, and I came running in here. Usually I can catch you into yours, Paul, but I ended up staying to work late. It is busy season, and I don't want no smoke. So, because at the moment, the full-time job still pays all my cruise bills. So I got to keep them people happy. Paul is the OG. Yes, you found it. You found it. Paul said, "How was your day, Oprah?" I did a lot of talking today. And shout out to YFC for the Oprah nickname. I find that hilarious. YFC knows how to like pump you up. You got to keep people around you who speak life into you in some good ways. And YFC, those are the people who do it. They hype you up. They hype you up for sure. But my day was, thanks for asking. My day was good. It went by fast. We are in the middle of busy season for work. So it was cool to have 2 cruises sandwiching busy season, these busy 2 weeks. Thanks for asking. How was your day? Let me see. Oh, now I'm having live streaming so long, I forgot how to touch which buttons. Lisa T. Hey, welcome in. Lisa T says, "Thanks for the recent videos." Thank you for watching them, Lisa T. So if you all know, I just got off of Carnival Conquest. I was visiting Celebration Key. So initially, Carnival Conquest was supposed to be the first ship to get to Celebration Key. And then they slid in Vista probably a few months, maybe a couple months after folks are already booked. And I was like, I did not have that great of an experience on Vista. And Vista was a longer cruise. I wanted to kind of just get in, get out, and see Celebration Key. So I got back on Conquest with a little quick 3-day. And my focus, because I'd already been on Conquest, I literally could, one, focus on meeting cool people. So I got to meet Paul, and I got to catch up with a lot of the creators. I got to meet the traveling types, and then catch up with a lot of creators who travel with Toy. I keep like so many new channels I had not met in person. And of course, I got to see all of my usual folks. So I got to basically do a bit of like resting the first day and second day, and then hit the ground running real hard for Celebration Key. And as you saw, I hit the ground running. So we'll talk about that video and others after we get through our hellos. But thank you, Lisa T. My cruising family is here. Welcome in Peter and the gang. Peter just released some content related to World America. Her vlog on World America. I think I watched that. Was that Sunday? Folks are speaking. Give us the details. Which details? Okay, so many details. Folks are speaking. Hey, Jaretha, welcome in, Jaretha. Thanks for being here. And your stuff will do it after this live stream. Monet to the T is here. Hey, girl. Saying hello. Happy Monday to me in the chat. And my cruising family says, I hear that. See, commuting home from a full-time job right now. This work be working. Yeah, and usually I have a hard stop rule. My mouth is like, I'm like, ugh. Like I need some chapstick. It's like, ugh, it's like sticky right here. Gross. I don't have anything right here about me. Anyway, let me focus. But yeah, usually like I have a hard rule of like when log off time is it's log off time. And right at we had I don't know how to I don't want to get too deep into details, but we had some people who were returning to work. I'll say that. So I was catching up with a colleague who's come back to work, and then next thing I know, I saw an email and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't do something. Which initially my gut was like, oh, I can just hold off into the morning. But kind of the posture right now, I'm like, listen, I don't want to give nobody no excuses to complain about me. So I just stayed at work 30 more minutes to get a little final product done. But it made me a few minutes late to here. Luckily, I only live 20 minutes away from home and work. So but yes, work is working. But y'all make sure y'all don't, work these jobs too much, because nobody remembers you by, oh, you stayed at work for 30 more minutes, or oh, you made them people at your job happy. They remember the other fun stuff. And welcome in 16 people. My name is Carlene. This is my channel, C with C. And thanks for coming. This is the Monday meetup where I don't go live. Well, I can't even say I don't go live every Monday. You have content every Monday. So, yes. So Carnival Conquest, Carnival Celebration Key. Well, first, let's talk about the Conquest. I don't think I've ever really talked about my experiences on Carnival Conquest on this channel. I had a Carnival Conquest vlog that was supposed to come out before even going on Celebration Key, but I just cannot get myself together to release it prior to leaving, because I wanted to push that out, but I didn't want to rush it. So it was interesting, the difference between my March selling on Conquest, which was a spring break adjacent selling. Much calmer, still packed Lido deck, still, similar vibes. But this cruise in July was when I felt the peak Carnival Conquest, party cruise that everyone says. So it was cool during the daytime. Everything was fun. Cool events. They had a really cool line dance class where they played everything that you wanted to hear. They played Flex. They played Boots in Your Ground. Yes, there were still Clack fans. They played Mia Dance. Solid 30 minutes of that. However, the cousins in the evening, the Carnival Conquest cousins, people in the evening, I was just but I didn't complain, because I know if you are on a 3-day weekend selling, and I can't just say for Carnival, because I remember MSC Seashore 3-day selling had some people up in the middle of the night just, having a good old time on their balconies. Those 3-day sailings got a little energy to them. And so just be prepared for, if you are a light sleeper, every night it was kind of I had a pattern where I would take a nap. I would prepare for the people who were across the hall from me would come either back from the club or karaoke. They would do a quick little turn up, and then they would leave their cabins. And usually whenever they came back later, I didn't hear them when they came back later, but that little transition between karaoke and pre-club to club, they will wear me thin. And I have to post a video, because Carnival Conquest, naturally I'm a light sleeper, so I'm gonna give that to folks. However, there is no soundproofing on the Conquest doors, so literally around the doors, just nothing but cracks. There's not that extra rubber that kind of gets things, the noise out of the hallway to come from your room. So literally these folks came back from karaoke, and they're singing. The first night they turned up for 10 minutes in the hallway. Then they were like, all right, y'all, we going to deck 9. and then they were gone in 10 minutes. The second night, they went a little harder for like 30 minutes. Then the third night, they went for like 45 minutes, and finally security came. And I'm like, look, it's now the end of the cruise. But I didn't like complain. I ain't put my head out. I ain't called security because I was like, this 3-day cruise, I am, this is what happens on 3-day cruises. So, and in my head, I'm like, it's not my job. Like, there should be people who are walking around monitoring these kind of situations anyway. So I got my celebration key content. And when I got home on Monday, that's why I didn't go live on Monday to do this recap. I just crashed then. So yeah. So if you want to avoid like the too loud crew, avoid deck 8 on the Conquest. I enjoyed when I had deck 9 on my March cruise because it was a short Lido deck. So anyway, that was that. And welcome in 25 people. And did the comments? Oh, I'm just running my mouth. I thought the comments stopped. Okay, let me get back into the comments. I thought Peter's was the last comment, so I just was talking. Paul said he had a cool day. Welcome in, Lala B. Welcome in. Oh, Paul. Oh, cool. So first question is from Paul. Paul says, why didn't you like the Vista? So the Vista A was my first cruise back to cruising. So I did my first cruise in 1996 on Carnival Fantasy church trip. I was like a teenager. Then the Vista was like my first cruise as an adult per se. So that was that 2017? Matt Mitchum was the cruise director. I'm looking for my fan. Hot. I didn't charge my fan. Matt Mitchell was a cruise director. But it just felt like the Vista was big for no reason. It's just like a big old ship, long hallways, but it was just big. It didn't have a lot of stuff. It was just big. And the Lido deck had like potholes in it where it was just literally like little indentations. I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling it. And then my family got on Carnival Magic afterwards. I took a few years off from cruising and came back. And I think we took off 2019, we were on the Magic. And then I did not cruise again until I think late 21 or 22. I can't remember when after the pandemic. And then I kind of got into the flow of cruising more. But Vista just didn't do it for me. And then now they hear like the Vista had propulsion issues, and it's just a ship that like I don't have to get back on. I don't want to get back on the ship on Vista. So it was a one and done for me for Vista. And Conquest, I just got on it twice because it was like I wanted to go on a group cruise, and then this one I wanted to see Celebration Key, and it was just like, what's the quickest thing that I can get on in the middle of my schedule of the year without having to take too much leave and get the Celebration Key content. So I don't know. Vista just didn't do it for me. And then these propulsion issues just didn't make it seem enticing to get back on. But when I booked the cruise, Carnival Conquest was the first ship going to Celebration Key. And I was like, I got to get on that for content. And I feel like it was a good choice because welcome in. We have a bunch of new subscribers. I think last week I picked up like 167 new subs. So welcome in. Over like 20,000 views across the videos that popped out over the last week or so. And then I got to see what the analytics are tomorrow. So it's a bunch of new subs. So welcome into the channel. If this is your first time in the chat, let me know. Don't be scared. Get to chatting. Folks in here are friendly. This is Cruise and Travel 2.0. So we do have a little bit of let me see. It's not the really beginner, but I'm happy to answer any beginner questions you may have. But we sometimes get really deep into cruise ships over here in channel travel in general. So don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Tell us about your travel experiences because I call it like chat 2.0 over here. Hey, Phil and D, welcome in. I got to travel with Phil and D's travel spree, and I got to watch at work. Phil and D, I was catching y'all's video on Disney Magic about the roaches. And I'm like, I feel like I was looking through your comments and scrolling through, and I feel like everybody has had like a cruise ship roach story. Like, if you have had a cruise ship roach story in a chat, let me know which cruise ship it was, because I had a great time, but mine was on Carnival Celebration where a roach popped out in my cabin. And for me, like, I get it. And people were frying me in the chat talking about bugs are everywhere. And a piece of me gets that. Like, the first time I sailed out of Bayonne, the only time I sailed out of Bayonne, they have these like love bugs that when you're in the port, they're just blind, and it's particularly in the summertime. They're blind. They fly into you, but as soon as you pull away from port, they go away. However, I feel like the conditions on a cruise ship, like, between the salt, it just seems like, how does a roach get and stay on a ship? I don't know. But I watched y'all's vlog on that. And of course, I watched all the Phil and D Celebration Key content. So if you're looking for family-friendly Celebration Key content, you have theirs. And then, of course, Paul has his Pearl Cove Celebration Key content, as well as a full walking tour. So check out these channels who've been cranking out content. And yes, as Paul said, click that like button, people. My cruising family says those guys you interviewed said it. Come ready to party. Yes. And shout out to what's name, Tay and Justin. Tay and Justin. I was if you watch my Celebration Key vlog, for me, Mingo's is the spot on Celebration Key that you get the free hideaway vibe. So if you like Perfect Day Coco K Hideaway, if you go to Mingo's, I think it's Long Neck's Bar is what it's called. That's basically the free hideaway vibes on Celebration Key. So I was going to I went live, and for some reason my lives were not live in. I had connectivity all three issues. Actually, the last few times I tried to go live from my ship, I've been having connectivity issues. That's not here or there. But I went live from Mingo's because I wanted to show you all what it looked like, and this is where you go if you want the more up-tempo vibe of Celebration Key. And Tay and Justin popped into my live, and so I just went ahead and interviewed them because they are kind of the demographic, that 20-30-year-old demographic, on Conquest. They were pretty much hit the nail on the head. This is a ship where you turn up. If you're not really want to turn up, you're over here judging. I just found it interesting because when boarding day, it was so many families on Conquest who were having family reunions, who were having, I saw a couple of class reunions. So I'm just wondering how the season saints, saints, when I went to, lunch, the first lunch on the Lido deck, I gave up my seats to a family who had two older family members. And these ladies had to be late 60s, early 70s. So I'm I want to know how these individuals, older, generation feel about, there's 20 and 30-year-olds kicking it in the hallway real hard. And, you just here trying to get your 9 o'clock rest in. I'm curious what their experience was on the Conquest, but it was beautiful to see boarding day with so many family reunion shirts, so many class reunion shirts, those kind of things. But yeah, they hit the nail on the head. And the funny part about it is I feel like Tay he filmed the atrium of Conquest, and that joint has over 1 million views on TikTok or something. So let that be a lesson to you. Just film anything. You never know what might pick up and take off. Phil and D says they were cutting all the way up at adult karaoke. We had a good time. Oh, so you went to karaoke. I didn't do any evening activities on this sailing, but I could tell that they were having a good time because they would leave karaoke. One night they left karaoke. I don't even know if I had my phone. I want to see if y'all can hear how loud it is. If I can pull it up. One evening they left karaoke, and I guess that song was still in their spirit because when I sang, is this it? I'm gonna play it. This is me laying in my bed I was early, so 9:41. So I can't complain because I was in bed early. But I just wanted y'all to hear how loud, and it's not just, and yes, they were loud in the hallway. But B, when I say the doors on the Conquest don't buffer no sound. So here we go. Oh wait. I don't know if y'all can hear that. So that was night 2. That was a night they only stayed in the hallway for about 30 minutes. But that was every evening. It was two dorms. It felt like my dormitory in freshman year. Where we had a couple people who were not ready for the college experience and were up at 4 o'clock in the morning just kicking in the hallway playing music. I felt like I was a 40. Am I 41 now? How old am I? I think I'm 41. 41-year-old back in my college dormitory. So And it's cool that I can't remember my age. I need to keep that pace. Folks are here speaking. Hey, Keisha H, welcome in. Thank you for being the welcoming committee. Seth Stone is here. And Seth, check your email, making sure that if anyone who is going on the ultimate solo group cruise 2025, which is Carnival, I keep saying Carnival, Celebration, Celebrity Reflection. We have sent out the invites to the Facebook group so that you all can start mixing and mingling. And if for some reason you didn't get that invite, just email us and we'll compare notes to make sure you can get in and start meeting the group. So who else we got? My cruising family says in my sister's room on the Maxwell cruise on Pearl earlier this year. Yeah, it's like sometimes, I don't know. I mean, I guess, and see, that's why I'm thinking, I need to finish my thoughts. That's why, like, I don't know if I could do a, what's that thing called? Uber Soca cruise. Because, like, I'm a kind of person when I'm ready to lay down and shut everything off, I want to lay down and shut everything off. And I just, like, I'm like, we can turn up anywhere else on the ship, but, like, can we have some sanctity in the hallways, particularly after a certain hour? Seth Stone says, bugs are everywhere, but not roaches. That's crazy. And that's the word. Yeah, like when I did my Carnival Sunshine vlog and I had my little roach situation, and then filling D's vlog, just scrolling through the comments, and people would just be like it's nothing. And I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? Alrighty. Cruise Vibes with Angel Roman is here. Hey, welcome in. Hey, Mel on the Move. I got to meet Mel on the Move on Carnival Conquest. Hope you made it. Apparently, you made it back home safely. Awesome. Welcome back. Cruise Vibes with Angel says that cruise was fun. Oh, so you were on our sailing too. I had an amazing time during the daytime, but when I was ready to go to bed, like, Lord have mercy. But I just chalked it up. I was like, Carlene, you want a 3-day? You want a 3-day? You are in their territory. Mark Hackett is here saying, what up, chat? Hey, C, happy Monday. Says, happy Monday to you, Mark Hackett. Thanks for being here. Keisha H says, somebody feeling what she's singing. Yes. I mean, it was like a duet. And that was every evening. Every evening. Because I would usually try to be, I was. I knew when we got to Celebration Key, I wanted to be rested. I wanted to be focused, and I wanted to hit the ground running. So I was in bed pretty early. And I flew in. I had a 5:00 flight on that Friday when we left. So when I say, like, I was like, okay, every night I was in bed. At least the first time I went on the March sailing, I was able to go I went to the nightclub that one night. This time, I think after I hung out with everyone in the atrium that first night, we hung up at the atrium bar. But after that, I was in bed early. Hey, Sig the solo cruiser is here. And that is my, what is it called? Cue to remind you all that we have the ultimate solo group cruise, which is June 22nd through 26th, 2026 on the Celebrity Reflection. Deposits are $100. And if you have already deposited, you should have got an email from one of the three of us, the host, me, Sig, and Jen Danielle, welcoming you to the Facebook group as we start kind of connecting the group together. And that's my cue. There's Jen. Hi, Jen. We are hosting the ultimate solo group cruise, and folks are already in that chat introducing themselves. So just hit up whoever you book with. Make sure you hit them up. So if you haven't gotten into the group yet, that you are able to get into the group. Who else? Keisha H, thank you for welcoming everybody in. Everybody. On the go, Yellow here saying, hey, happy Monday. Happy Monday, Yolo. Cool. So I released Celebration Key. So I did a couple videos in Celebration Key. So the first one was just a kind of quick walk around, really rough, uncut version of just being the first look of the island. I'm just gonna say island because I'm tired of saying the D word, which is destination. I know it's a destination. I know it's a part of Grand Bahama Island, but I'm just gonna say island because I'm tired of having a code switch. So when I first got my first that video's out, then on Sunday I released the more refined version of the full 3 days on Carnival Conquest. And I wanted to release that one because I wanted to show folks that really the experience on Carnival hasn't changed. I know Carnival's business development manager. I am a travel agent. I'm a travel agent who prides myself on staying up to date and well trained on the various ship products. So I know a lot of people have saw the AI, here are the Carnival rules. Here are the Carnival rules. What was it? Flyer that was circulating around. And it was AI generated. It has spelling issues, and a lot of it's not accurate information. So I was like, okay, when I get on this cruise, not only I'm going to highlight Celebration Key, but I also want to highlight like what are the changes on Carnival. And for me, honestly, y'all, like it was this for the most part, it was the same Carnival. Like the bulk of it was the same Carnival. I do, and I really didn't realize it until like some other folks pointed it out. Like I do think the Sailaway has become more family friendly. As y'all heard Tay and Justin mention in their interview, pretty much yes, the club has those theme nights, but the theme nights are just basically get the party started, and eventually it just evolves to whoever's on the dance floor. And again, this is not the first time Carnival has introduced theme nights, because when I did Carnival Valor, they would do theme nights for R&B. They had a country theme night, a Latin theme night, and I think they did like a brown liquor, blues, bayou-ish kind of theme night. And then after a while, usually after that first hour or so, once the club kind of, gets packed in, then they kind of start DJing for everybody. While I didn't make it to the club, I heard it was a good time. The only, I guess, changes that the true changes, and I can't even say true. So, I can't say true. So, yes, the whole fan situation, they're only for outdoors. They don't want anybody to get their heads clacked indoors, particularly if you've been on Carnival Conquest. That club and those spaces are really packed. But there's supposed to be a 1 a.m. curfew. Now, again, when I say for me on this sailing, it was not the kids. I feel like the kids that I encountered were acting better than the 20 and 30-year-olds. It was literally the 20 and 30-year-olds who were all hyped up on Mountain Dew, who can stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning and pop back up at 8. Like, those are the ones who I was just like, y'all, please. But I believe by 1 a.m., children under a certain age have to be with their parents. And I mean, do y'all think that's fair? Like, where should a child be 1 a.m. on a cruise ship? And I'm going to see what y'all sentiments are about that. We're back into the chat. Folks are speaking to Keisha. On a Go Yellow's fire review. Thank you. And it was cool to kind of see myself on the other side of the camera too, making cameos in like YFC. And I think maybe I made an appearance in Traveling Types videos. Jen says, can you touch on the bee situation? Were they really bad? I'm going to say yes. But here's my caveat. I didn't experience the bees on the island. I experienced the bees on the ship. So whenever the ship, nobody else, not that like that's important, but I guess maybe because everybody else is out on the island. But while the ship is docked, what other people don't hit on is, yes, the bees are bad on the island if you put an item down. Like my table mate at dinner had an aquabana, and she was like, as soon as she put a piece of food or put a drink down, like they were coming. I think one lady in like a Celebration Key Facebook group mentioned like she was stung and medical attention was required. But I encountered them, like, also know if you stay on the ship and you're up at the Lido deck, particularly Red Frog Rum Bar, wherever there is suites, the bees will come visit the ship. So literally when I came back to the ship to upload that first look vlog and welcome 41 people, thanks for being here. When I was uploading that, I was going to the bar to use my drink package to fill up. And it was so bad at the bar that I would literally I would stand back like 3 feet and order my drink and then wait for the bartender to put the drink down and then hurry up, sign my name on the receipt and grab my drink and move away from the bar. They were bad. Now, John Hill mentioned that the bee situation has been rectified. I'm not sure how. I also know like Disney had the same situation on when it rolled out Lighthouse Point. Was it with flies? So, maybe this is like the first time that all these items, food, drink, all this stuff is out and these bees are like, oh, sugar. I also know when I stayed in Morocco, we rented this house and it had a really beautiful pool and water feature. Well, we quickly learned that hornets and bees love water because I think it's a part of their generation process for honey or whatnot. Um, so I guess it's something between water, sugar, and basically between sugary drinks and those big old lagoons. It seems like a bee's like what is it? The bee's paradise. But John Hill has said the bees have been rectified. I'm not sure how the bees have been rectified, but I guess I'll have to see. Now, the person who can you can ask, MH Family Adventure has already been. Raquel has already been to Celebration Key. This she's coming up on her third time. She's already been twice, but she's coming up on her third time. She's currently out on Carnival Glory, so Raquel will be able to give us an update in regards to like how the bees were from the first selling to the second selling to like her next couple. Thanks for that question, Jim, because I would imagine it's kind of scary. Because when I first learned about the bees in the Bahamas, and I know it sounds crazy, like most people say, oh, like if it has teeth, it bites. Well, a lot of times with those bees, they be like, oh, they don't sting. And I was like, oh, they don't sting. And then like I'm seeing reports in the group that people were getting stung. So be safe out there, particularly if you have a certain allergy. You might want to have your like EpiPens. You might want to have, keep an eye on children for any weird reactions, just so you can be on the safe side. But the one lady who was stung and required medical attention, she said that they quickly responded and got to her. And there's a whole first aid like office on the backside of the island where you like catch the taxis. So hope that information helps y'all. Yolo says Celebration had theme nights too. I didn't mind. And see, my butt don't even make it to the nightclub. And I swear, like the nightclub, whenever I go to nightclub on a ship, I end up getting the cooties of some sort. So usually for me, it's not a night after night thing. And I have to pop some vitamin C before going. So you usually catch me in a nightclub like maybe 1, maybe 2 nights. Like my jam is live music in a bar. And now you can, if it's good conversation, good music, I'll stay up late and do that. But the nightclub in particular isn't like my jam. I prefer like a more interactive, live music, chat it up, those kind of things. But cool to know Celebration had the theme nights, and Yolo said she didn't mind. And who else? Royal has done theme nights too, where usually it starts a certain way and then the music is supposed to evolve. I guess it's like if we think outside of ourselves, right? Because a lot of times they're like, I mean, I guess it's your money, so I get that. I acknowledge that. But a lot of times it's like me. What makes me have this really great experience? But it's kind of like, there are other people want to have a good time in the nightclub too. And, it might be, while it might be Meek Mill for somebody, it could be, I don't know, Baha Man. It could be, I don't know, Mr. 305. What's his name? Pitbull, So I guess it's like to give everybody opportunity to enjoy the different spaces. But I will say that for the most part on cruises, the nightclub is not my ministry. Jen says, I'm all for the theme nights. Virgin does the same thing now. I'm not awake more than one night, so that's fine. And same, Jen. Like usually, again, now on Virgin, my spot is that on the Rocks bar. I will close that spot out every night. I think I have not been to Virgin since my first cruise on Virgin. I have not been to the nightclub on Virgin since my first cruise on Virgin. That on the Rocks bar though, where there's a live music, cocktails, somebody can wait on you, and you're singing, you're dancing, you're having a good conversation. Like I can do that all night. So when usually like I'll close out the night there. Who else? Stephanie Elaine says, good evening. Carlene, everyone in chat, good evening. Yellow says, in the damn bed, and is. Because I get it. Like for me, I don't want to come back the same way that I left. And usually when I'm going on these trips, I can't even call them vacation no more because thanks to y'all, and I appreciate it. Like, I'm working. I'm trying to get these vlogs. I'm trying to get the content. So I gotta put my butt in bed. And shout out to now there are people who know how to, they can stay up late, do all the things. But for me, I get dysfunctional when I get tired. Cruise Vibes Angel says the bees were horrible. So that's another opinion. So good to know. Thank you. Oh, and Mail on the Move was on too. Mail on the Move was on our, I think, and Angel Roman. We were on the 718 sailing. So Mail said, yeah, the bees were all over the bar on the island. Good to know. And see, I was sitting underneath Mingo's. I had like a, what is that, sweet drink, but they didn't bother me there. But on that ship, that's where the bees were like, I was like, I got to go back down to my room. It's weird. It's like they smelled everything and they were like, all right, we jumping on this. Want to go at Yellow says, my daughter just graduated to a midnight curfew. Before that, her curfew was 11 p.m. Facts. And see, I remember my first cruise again when I was on Carnival Fantasy, and I feel like I'm about to be like a old lady when I said like back in my day, but like I remember I was with my church friends. I was like 12 or 13. And that first night on the ship, I remember my mom could not sleep. And then some of the other people from our church were just like, well, where can she go? Right. And then look, I got my mama's money worth. Every night I was back in like 2, 1, 3 o'clock in the morning, sleeping through the middle of the day, get up and do it all over again. Which again, a lot could have happened. And you can go a lot of different places on a ship, but I also was not the kid who was like running in the hallways. Like I was just kind of raised to, for the most part, be very respectful and mindful of other people. I was just literally, and I don't even know how or why, but I was in a nightclub. I was like 12 or 13 in a nightclub on Carnival Fantasy. I don't even know how they did it, why we were allowed to do it. That was the weekend that come on, ride it train and ride it. So, and back then, like you only got, look, back in my day, back then, we only got like maybe, they were only playing like 3 to 5 hip hop songs. Like, and whenever those 3 to 5 songs came on, we like did our thing. And then they were back to playing, some top 100 music that we didn't know. So, even the evolution of that where, I don't know, I guess the clubs may trend more hip hop R&B now, particularly for Carnival. When I did my first cruise on Carnival Fantasy 1996, you better enjoy those 3 songs they gave you. Who else we got here? Cruise Vibes Angel says they were all over Pearl Cove Beach Club too. Yeah. So I need to know, whoever goes back, let us know how the bee situation is. Hey, Together We Travel. Hey, neighbor. They went to Celebration Key and they have content out too. So welcome in. Margaret Logan, welcome in, Margaret. She is back and she says, happy Monday. Yes, the bees were at Shaq's Big Chicken on Saturday morning before we went to Celebration Key. Yeah, so be mindful too, whenever the ships dock in Celebration Key, it's not just they are attacking on the island. I don't want to say attacking, but they're not just swarming the island. They also come up on the ship and visit you. So be mindful on those outdoor areas when pulling to Celebration Key until they get the bee situation handled. And hopefully they can, do something, handle the bees in a humane way. Because we need bees, but we just don't need bees to be stinging people and us, ducking and dodging them for a whole day. Jen says, I hope they figure something out real quick. Yeah, because I can see the liability in that. If somebody gets stung, they're not prepared and don't get the attention, I can see that going left real quick. Keisha H says, that's crazy. I haven't stung in years. On a vacation would be horrible. Yes, same. I think I remember the last time I got stung, I was standing in line in elementary school recess. So remember, like recess, you had to line up twice, which, oh my gosh, school was just so much like jail. But you would or for recess, you would like line up and then the teachers would dismiss you by, whatever classes. And then same thing when you came back, you had to line up and they would release you back into the building. Sounds just like prison. But anyway, The last time I was stung was probably like 4th or 5th grade. I was standing in line, either waiting to be taken to recess or whatever. And I was not touching the bee, doing anything, and the dang on thing just stung me. And so again, however many years now later, I'm scared to even know what could happen. Because I know you can develop allergies, et cetera, as you get older, as you age. And that's just one of the ones that, because it can escalate so quickly, I just don't want to know how my body will react. Margaret Logan says, also at the swing bar, all around the alcohol, crazy. Dag. And see, a geeky me, somebody in one of the things was like, they can put these, what is it called? Like some kind of feeders that attract them a little ways out, but still around the island, so that it will like attract them to these feeders or something. But my hunch says that they probably use, some kind of fumigation strategies. If John Hill is correct and they actually fixed it. Keisha H says, yes, I have watering stations in my garden for the pollinator friends. See, we gotta keep the bees around. I have 2 beekeeper neighbors. And one of them, like my first or second year moving here, his hive produced some honey. And when I say that is the best honey I've had in my whole life, was from my neighbor for like $10 from his backyard. Ken Hill says Celebration Key is getting ready for 4 ships at a time. Yes. So since we've been Celebration Key has held 2 ships. When I was there, it was only 1. And when I said like, we had the full run of the island. There were no lines. There were no, no tussling over chairs. It was cool. So I'm curious to see what the 2 ships are. And then, of course, there will be 3 and 4 coming soon as they finish up that pier. On the Go Yellow says, I had to make myself go. I wasn't there long. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, the club. Yeah, the club just doesn't do it for me on the ships anymore. And again, the club is usually where I end up. If I go to the club too much or have too much fun in the club, I usually end up with the cooties. And so for me, it's not worth it. I've had my club heyday where and I'm a bit of a club party snob. Like some people can turn up to anything and you're like, are you really having a good time to this? I am like for me, a party is, yeah. Like if it's good enough, I can still go to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But DMX and Usher and all the stuff they play in the States just doesn't do it for me frequently to like want to stay up and party. It has to be a really good DJ, a really good party, all the good vibes there, or songs I have not heard in a long time. And I'm just like, ooh. But particularly now because I cruise so much, like some of the songs they play, and I'm just like, I don't care about this. Miss L Honey says, hey Carlene, hey, we went to high school together. Is that Tanya? Thanks for popping in, girl. She said, this is my first time catching a live. I usually watch the replays. Oh, thank you for the catching the live. And for catching the replays frequently. Folks saying hi to Jen. On the Go Yo says, I said the Alchemy Bar listening to the music from down below most nights, if not in the casino. And see, yeah, if you give me some good conversation at the Alchemy Bar, I could be there. I just don't, the nightclub doesn't slap for me like that anymore. It has to really be like some deep cuts I haven't heard in a long time. Like piano, it has to be just the right stuff. House music, I can go forever, but Yellow is like she don't play with Dylan. Yes, please, everyone, make sure you pause for the cause and hit the thumbs up on the live stream. I'm just recapping on some of their content that I released. So I released my refined version of Celebration Key. So I kind of quickly went over just, life on the Conquest, this last cruise, kind of just hit on some of the things about Celebration Key. I know a lot of people have been covering Celebration Key. But now we can transition. I also released a very big announcement, which was I got invited. This is my first invitation ever to the Star of the Seas, the first Star of the Seas sailing, which is labeled a shakedown. I can't say it's a preview. It's not a media event, but it's the first selling at the moment because y'all know Royal Caribbean like to sneak in another extra cruise. I believe Star gets here on like August 3rd or August 6th. She's making her way across the Atlantic now. But I will be on Star of the Seas August 9th. And so I'm going to hit on a little bit about some of the details that I left out in that preview video. I have a preview video if you want to see just some of the communications that they sent me, information that's there for you. So check out that video. But I realized it's only a quick 8-minute video. So there's some things I left out. So I'm going to touch on that quickly before wrapping up the live stream if y'all don't have any other questions. So Margaret says, oh my God, the nightclub was full of kids. And see, that's another thing too. I also hate being in those cruise ship nightclubs where this is some 20-year-old, 21-year-olds first time ever being in a nightclub situation. The only thing they're doing is standing in a circle, jumping up and down. That drives me insane too. So Margaret says it was full of kids, too many young girls with their butts and chests out. So they brought their club clothes for real. Now, I will say Carnival encouraged Carnival. That's how I was on the Conquest. My first selling in March. It was like people bought their Miami Nights club clothes. But that's their business. She said it was hard for me not to say anything to them. Leave something to the imagination. Come on, Miss Margaret. She said, don't be showing all your cakes, pies, and thighs. I totally get it. We all had our, or maybe not, but I had my little moments between college and early graduating where, show a little leg, show a little cleavage. But so I get it. Show it while you can, I guess is what the girl said. Today, actually coming home, this girl's walking down the street and maybe she just left the pool. I don't know, but she had on this a gold bikini top. I said, look, while they sit upright, girl, just flaunt them, I guess. Cruising Caper says they will be the Celebration Key next month. And we have got her prepared. Awesome. Yes, it's a lot of content. It's been a lot of live streams. So you should be pretty prepared unless they throw in some other items that we haven't experienced. But pretty much everyone has covered everything. Now, I will say, with the food situation, only be able to get like one item. I would love like a food review. Like my plan when I go back is I want to eat because I end up eating on the ship because I was editing. But I want to try some of the items. So I would love to see like people's coverage of food when they're on Celebration Key, because as I did, if you all haven't watched the replay of Your Favorite Couple, they did a live stream on Friday. And I was saying, because there's so many food options on Celebration Key, I'm talking about like jerk tacos. They don't call it conch salad. They call it conch ceviche, but I think it's conch salad. They have so much stuff that it's hard to try everything. So I'm really looking forward to people who actually get plates on Celebration Key so that whenever I go back, I can make an informed decision about food. So if any of you all are content creators heading to Celebration Key, get some food content so we know what to eat with our 1 meal credit. And welcome in 44 people. My name is Carlene, and this is my channel CWC, where every Monday at 7 p.m. you get some sort of content, whether it be a live stream or a video premiere. And today I'm catching everyone up on my time in Celebration Key, and then my big announcement about being on Royal Caribbean Star of the Seas, and I'm about to cover how that all went down. Mel on the Move says, yeah, I hit the club for like an hour, and it was time for bed and a movie. Cool. Yeah, and shoot, I probably should have like tried to turn on a movie because as loud as they were in them hallways, baby. Sheesh. Travel Yes We See is in the building. YOLO is celebrating me being on the Star of the Seas, getting that first look. And I'm like, look at God. I went from couch cruising to on the cruise. Mel on the Move says, I read that already. Hi, Amelia. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Black GOTV, thanks for popping by. I just met Black GOTV in these YouTube streets. He does a lot of coverage of just travel in general. So I was watching him some St. Martin and I believe a couple of African country. He travels to African countries. Keisha says, congratulations on that Star of the Seas invite. definitely need your perspective with ahead of the naysayers. Your icon content has spoken. Thank you. Thank you. So a little backstory. When Icon the Seas rolled out, I just was like not in the position to be, it would have been my, while I found the trip at the cheapest. So I think when Icon the Seas rolled out, I was on the computer at like that 3 o'clock in the morning when it rolled out. I had it on hold for like 3,100, 3,200. But at that moment, that would have been the most I would have ever paid for a cruise. And so I was like, Then all these things in life started happening. So at that point, I was driving my college car. My college car conked out. Then my washing machine conked out. So I had to replace a car. And I had to replace what is it called? I had to replace my washer and dryer. And then my last year on being on the board of education, so I knew my stipend was about to run out. So I was like, Carlene, you have to prepare yourself financially, for a car, a washing machine, and this be your last year of this extra stipend, this extra money. So I was like, you know what? The icon situation is not a good move for me. And so at home, I was just like walking around, like, what should I do? What should I do? Like, there's an opportunity here. I can't miss out on this icon situation. And I was watching what was her name? The CT director, ND, who was on TikTok at the time, and she was covering the world cruise that was going on, the Royal Caribbean World Cruise. And there were like thousands of people. She was featured on the Today Show, thousands of people watching her content, and she was literally recapping what she saw of other content creators, or people, not even content creators, people who were on the world cruise, either their pictures, videos, and she would recap it every day in a post. And I said, you know what? I'm going to commit myself 7 days, basically every day of Icon of the Seas. I'm going to sit on this couch and I'm going to recap all the content that people release related to Star of the Seas, information I see related to Star of the Seas. And it was a hit. That first night, I think I had like 1,000 views, 70 subscribers. So it was good growth for the channel. But fast forward to a year, and still with all of the things going on, I was just like, okay, I don't see me getting on, being able to pay for this Star of the Seas situation with all the things that I've done. So I had kind of wrote it off, and I was just like, I'm not going to do Star of the Seas. Honestly, I had wrote off inaugurals in general. But anywho, about a couple weeks ago, I was sitting at work. You know how you get distracted throughout the day, scrolling on my phone, and I see Royal Caribbean, you are invited. And I was like, you are invited to what? And it was like, I opened it up and it was like, you are invited to the Star of the Seas. And it was like, okay, there was like August 9th sailing. And I'm like, oh snap, this is the first one. Like, I had seen, other folks get invited to later dates. So I'm like, the 9th, what? So then I was like, this has to be spam, because they hit me up on my personal email. So not my See It With C channel information. They hit me up in my personal email, and I'm like, I had not pitched to anyone. I had not emailed anyone saying like, hey, I'm a content creator, I'm a travel agent, like, can I get on your ship? I want to do a first look. Nothing. And when you see Royal do these rollouts, usually it's these channels of and shout out to them, like hundreds of thousands of people and millions of views, right? So I was like, this gotta be fake. And I was hesitant because I was like, I can't check this on my work computer, because if it's truly spam, like, I'm logged into the work network. And then I was scared to touch it on my phone, because I'm like, I don't like doing important things on my phone. Because I don't want to get locked out or something and did not be able to finish it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just wait a few hours. When I get home, I'll check my computer, to make sure everything was adding up. And something just said, no, don't wait. Like, double check on your phone and then register for this thing. And so I looked up the information. The email that sent it to me was one of their email accounts for their special events. And it was legit. So I went ahead and registered. And that week I was getting prepared to head to Portugal. So I was like, okay, this was like July 7th or 8th. It was like, you should hear something back by July 11th. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll hear back like, I think right before I leave for Portugal, something like that. Well, July 11th came and I still had no confirmation. And at this point, I was supposed to be on Utopia of the Seas. I had canceled in my head. I was like, okay, if they see me on Utopia of the Seas on August 8th, they're gonna like not invite me to Star of the Seas on, the night. Like I was overthinking the hell out of this situation, right? So cancel Utopia of the Seas. So now I have no cruise, and I'm sitting there waiting for this like confirmation to come in. So I do what I naturally do. I log in and see there's a Facebook group for this August 9th sailing. So I log in, find the Facebook group. It's like 300 people who are all in purgatory with me. So we are all sitting there like, hey, I registered on the 8th. And apparently there were invitations of people who even were invited a week before. So I was like I'm not sure, like maybe I was not on the first rollout of invitations even. Like that's, I even found like that a blessing. So I was like not on the first rollout of invitations. I guess I was on like the second or third maybe rollout of invitations. So, everybody who's in this chat is basically like, we registered, but we hadn't heard for anything. People are trying to figure out like, okay, well, what is your Royal Caribbean status? How much do you like? Because the invite is also for a casino. It says like, Casino Royale has invited you. Which again, I play in the casino, at least a few times a cruise, particularly on Royal, because I like that Royal Caribbean's status tiers are transparent in regards to if you play this amount, you'll get this. So I'll play, every other cruise, or if I don't have nothing better to do at like 12 o'clock, I'll just go to the casino. I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest casino player. So I was just like, you get this casino. So we were all in this chat trying to figure out like, how did you get invited? When did you register? We're all waiting. So I'm in Portugal and I'm freaking out because my worry is you have 48 hours to confirm that you're going to accept this invitation. Well, I'm on the other side of the world. There's a 6-hour time difference. And I'm just freaking out that like, crap, I'm going to miss this invitation, to like register. And it's so funny, like how like sometimes you take your mind off of stuff, it just pops up. So literally I get back home on like July 13th. I wake up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, like I usually randomly do, start scrolling my phone, and I have my booking confirmation. Like it finally came through. Because I'm watching all these people in the Facebook group, and slowly it even got to the point that I guess wherever these invitations came from, they were overbooking. So people in the Facebook group were starting to say, like, well, I didn't get the balcony because in the invitation, they confirmed that we were going to get a balcony. They were like, okay, you've been invited. You'll have a balcony. You're guaranteed a balcony cabin for this event. So we're all just sitting there. So then we're sitting in this group and we're like, well, maybe, this was spam. Maybe an intern over invited people. Like all the stories started flying. Maybe they picked the wrong list of people and we're about to get a cancellation email, all this stuff. So finally, I just stopped thinking about it. I don't really stop thinking about it because I think I was thinking about it all the time. But I literally fell asleep from jet lag and exhaustion when I finally got back home from Portugal. And I wake up and 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I have like, here's your confirmation, your number. So I go plug it into the Royal Caribbean app and it works. So that worked. Then a few days later, we got our assignment and we were actually assigned the balcony cabin because at that point, again, people started saying in the chat they were getting ocean view cabins. So yeah. And then the last communication basically was kind of like, oh, because it's a shakedown cruise. So essentially a shakedown cruise is just to put the systems of the ship to max. So similar to how you all might be living in a house and, when you're doing your walkthroughs of your home, when you just purchased it, everything's peachy cream, right? Then you start living in the house like 3 months and the doorknob falls off or a sink becomes unplugged or something. So we are basically there to stress test the ship. We were told that, so I'll be boarding on the 9th. We were told that we may get some assignments of certain things to do. I have not received that yet, but for now, I'm just excited to be on. So that's my long story about how I got invited to Star the Seas to do the preview selling. So make sure you hit subscribe to the channel so that you can see all of that content, because similar to all these other cruises, I'm going to be getting on there working and making sure you all get the first look from me in my initial thoughts. Margaret Logan says, Celebration also needs 2 nightclubs. Those kids were out of control. I had enough of seeing little. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. Gio says elite cruise content. Thank you. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I appreciate that. Go Wilson Travel says, for real, if you got it, flaunt it. Listen, while it's perky and pretty, pull them out. How the independent black boy says, hey, C, caught a live one in transit. Whoo, safe travels to you. What else we got here? Keisha says, the blessings don't always come in the form that we expect, but they were always coming. Well deserved. And amen. You never know what direction those blessings are coming. Just, be prepared to receive them. And that's what I think, like, I already knew, like, if I had did Icon the Seas, because I told y'all I did not know how to, as a content creator, I did not know how to do inaugural cruises. Because in my head, I get on the ship, hang out with friends, film what I can film, and then put it out 3, 4, 5 weeks later, whenever I get around to it. So I will say, being part, watching Icon, watching all the people who did those vlogs and worked so hard to get the information out there, I learned, like, okay, this is how you're supposed to approach these first looks, first experiences, inaugurals. So now I am prepared, I think. As long as the technology is in my favor in regards to Wi-Fi, etc., I'm gonna be sure to get y'all those looks. Cruising Caper says that would have drove me crazy. Who them kids in the hallways? Welcome in adventures. Folks are speaking to T. Hey, Parker's on the go, talking about folks who I have learned how to film inaugurals from. Shout out to y'all. And then I'll use Parker's on the go as my cue to, have y'all seen the announcement with the Ultimate Land and Sea? So the Ultimate Solo Cruisers are joining the folks, the channels who are doing, the land and sea travels. We have joined together and we are doing Carnival Dream is returning to New Orleans May 17th. Carnival's making a really big deal of it. May 16th, 2027. And so a few of us are getting together to host the Ultimate Land and Sea. Excuse me, talking too much. 1 second. The Ultimate Land and Sea Cruise, where we're going to do a couple of days together in New Orleans and then hop on Carnival Dream for 4 days. Now, I know Carnival Dream is, a little seasoned Carnival ship. However, the exciting part is the Dream will be bigger than the Valor, but I think all of us are really excited about New Orleans. And when I say we have really thought, we've been ping-ponging ideas around, we had to calm ourselves down and be like, okay, y'all, first, we just need to book people. So you are more than welcome to come, either if you are interested in the land-based part, which will be 2 days, or if you want to do the sea part, or you want to do both. Host you. We just want to get our YouTube communities together to have a good old time. And it's open to everyone. So I know you all see 6 beautiful ladies on the flyers. However, we are the ladies who do the bookings. But there might be partners, there may be children, there may be spouses who will be joining us. So if you are interested, May 16, 2027, out of New Orleans. I know it's my favorite U.S. city. Come on down to Crescent City with us. It's going to be something for everyone. It's going to be something for everyone. So come on, join us. And you can email any of us to book or get a quote, or to let us know if you are going to be able to do, or you want to do just land only. I have got that question a couple times. So just email one of us if you are just interested in the land only component, because we need to make sure that you are on the communications and in the number count for those planning purposes, even though we're out a couple years, but we like to be prepared over here. Big Smurf Life says, hey, see you in the chat. Welcome in. And hello to everyone. Black Geo says, I need to get more cruise advice from you. Hit me up with any questions. Adventurer says, see, please check my stateroom. Make sure it's good, please. Stateroom 4581. Thank you much. Was that for me? Adventurer says, oh, okay. I am got you. Star of the seas. It's like I'm so behind in the chat. Like a lot of times you got to puzzle piece stuff together. Check let me write that down, T. 45. Let me put it in my planner. 45. You might have to message me closer to the 9th. 4581. Yes, I will try to sneak down there. Even requires me knocking on the door looking like a crazy person. Like, hey, my friend is gonna be in this cabin. We'll do. Adventure says, I love this for you. I'll be watching. Thank you. Wanna go with yellow says, that was me. I did inaugural before I was a content creator, so I didn't really vlog icon. I was having fun, enjoying my fam. Yeah. And that was me when I did Carnival Celebration. I was like, yes, I'm on this first cruise. And then I looked over at Parker's on the Go and Siobhan was live streaming. Then I was sitting at the Alchemy Bar with Fane and he was like, we got to go wrap up the vlog. And I was like, okay, I wasn't supposed to be having this much fun. I was supposed to be working. So folks are speaking to T. Parker's on the Go says, I am ready. We have never been to New Orleans and we are super excited. Yes. And New Orleans is my favorite US city. So I have to keep in mind that we only will have really like a day and a half because I'm guessing people are going to fly in. We're going to try to give people like a range of like, hey, can you get here on this day? We're really going to have like, a day or so, day and a half to really like hit the ground. And with all the ideas and all the things to do and things to eat in New Orleans, we're going to have to make some decisions. But I also can see we might do some different tracks of certain things. So we might have a couple options per day, and then people kind of come and meet in a certain location to kind of we're going to come together. But when I say New Orleans doesn't miss, there's something to eat, there's something to drink, there's something to listen to, there's something to see. It's going to be a good place, particularly for, again, YouTube, where a lot of us are mixing and mingling. A lot of events don't happen in the center of our country. Everyone usually has to truck over to Florida for YouTube cruise events. So hopefully y'all can come on down and we can just have fun. And Sharon will be celebrating her birthday. So we got to make Sharon's birthday trip cool. Keisha A says the Connect the Cruise Dots. Yeah, so that was such a fun rollout. So, it started with Raquel was kind of like, hey, Carnival Dream is coming back to New Orleans. And if you all know, I sailed out of New Orleans on Valor, which it was a cool experience. I was already in New Orleans for, I went to Florida State and LSU game. And I was there for a weekend. I was like, it doesn't make sense to just be here for this football game. Let me tag on. It was a holiday weekend, good government holiday. So I tagged on Carnival Valor. Well, Valor, it was cool. It was a good experience. I would say Carnival Valor, them cooks are chef's kiss, though they were doing their thing in the kitchen. But it's an older ship. So Raquel hit us up and was like, hey, Carnival Dream has come back to New Orleans. And I was like, bet, bigger ship. So then I reached out to Sig and I was like, hey, Sig, because Sig and I are doing the ultimate solo group cruise. And I hit up Jen too. I was like, hey, what do y'all think about this? So then we were like, okay, let's let the ultimate solo and Raquel does the land and sea. Like, let's have them have a baby. And then everyone kind of joined in. So it's going to be a good time amongst creator friends. And then, of course, you all. But how we released it, so we woke up and I think Raquel be so on it. She had already announced it to her channel members. Because, we had held rooms for a while. And I think Sig woke up and was like, are we supposed to be announcing this? And then we kind of all, as a group, we were like, well, maybe we should do a joint rollout. And then I was kind of like, well, maybe we should put some bounce music to it. And Siobhan was like, well, hold my beer. And created the wonderful Instagram thumbnail with the bounce beat to it. And then, yeah. So we probably had more fun on the rollout. But New Orleans is going to be a good time. want to go YOLO since she loves New Orleans. Me too. I love, like, oh my gosh, the music. I'm a live music girl, and I just, anything from like Preservation Jazz Hall band to the I can't remember, the brass bands, to of course bounce music, Frida, all of that. That's my jam. So we're gonna make sure you get a little bit of all of that. And there might be a bit of a battle of the beignets. We'll see. Keisha H says, let me start buttering up my non-cruiser husband for this 2027 ultimate group cruise. Love all of y'all. Yes, butter up the husbands because we need more of the men folks. So again, this cruise is for everyone. You're going to see a bunch of female creators, women creators on the flyer, but it's open for everyone. It's just the ladies are doing the booking. And the one guy was like, I'm not trying to be the only guy on this flyer. So it's open to everyone, children, spouses, everyone. Just come, bring them. Keisha H says, I was watching Sig's member only vlog when she released hers. Then I got Raquel's on IG. I love how I got each of your notifications from all the platforms. Yes, it was very coordinated. It was coordinated down to the, if you are Central Time, you drop at this point. If you are Eastern Time, you drop at this point. Schedule all your posts. You drop this video this day, this video that day. And if you're really watching, there was one channel that spilled the beans really early. Does anybody know who it was? Whoever points out who spilled the beans first in their rollout, I gotta, where is it? I got a $15 Starbucks gift card for you. I want to see who is really attentive. And you got like 3 minutes by 8:25 to put in the comments. Who is this? So YOLO is quick on the draw, and look at you. Okay, I will say on my timeline, it was Parker's on the go who dropped the bean, who spilled the beans first. So YOLO, I have a $15 gift card for you. I'll DM you or something to get your deets to put in the mail for you. Let's see, because wait, I'm missing something. POTG says, girl, that rollout got me hyped. It was fun. I enjoyed going down the rabbit hole of all these, like I almost missed the release time. The second release time, the first release time I was cool, but the second release time I was so like, okay, which song am I gonna put? So YOLO was the first on my end that it came through StreamYard. Don't blame me, blame StreamYard. But YOLO was the first one to say Parker's on the go, spilled the beans about what the ship was, because Siobhan in her excitedness, we were supposed to just put the one thing. Siobhan added the piece about it was a carnival dream. Now she did not spill the beans about date. But it was cool because we figured we were all going to release the next day anyway. So YOLO, I'll make sure you get that gift. And shout out to YOLO for being Inspector Gadget. She saw it. POTG says, mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business. Okay, cool. So and confirmed by POTG. All righty, y'all. So that is a wrap for today. I covered all of the video releases. Tune in next week because, as you know, next week should be another live stream trip announcement. We'll see. Hopefully, I can be able to give you all more information about if I've been given assignments for Celebration Key or not Celebration Key. Lord, I got too many firsts. For Star of the Seas. There might be a live stream. If not, there will be a premiere. So yeah, tune in next Monday at 7 p.m. There will be something. Or there'll be an announcement that I got caught at work and ain't nothing, but it should be something next Monday. All right. So, we got to do the announcement. So let's see. Since good transition here, if I can remember how to do this, there are opportunities to come cruise and kick it with me. So putting this up here, I did a final call, and I have ordered the shirts. However, this morning someone emailed saying that they were interested in getting a quote. There are only central balconies available for the Good Gov Getaway 2025. I had said I was going to stop taking bookings July 4th, but somebody emailed this morning. So I was just like, well, maybe people are still interested. I don't know. I know there are people who book last minute trips. I just know I'm the person who I book stuff a year to two in advance. But I get a lot of clients who book cruises like 2 weeks out. So if that is your ministry, join us for the Good Gov Getaway 2025. It will be on Virgin Voyages. Valiant Lady, which is my favorite lady ship. It's August 29th through September 3rd. We're leaving out of Miami. We're heading to the Dominican Days itinerary, which always has a little heat to it. And it's a 5-day cruise. There are still Central, what's it called? Sea View. No, Central Sea, what's it called? Is it Sea Terrace? I can't remember. I'm getting all things. It's Central Balconies. There we go. There are Central Sea Terraces available for that one. And I'll have to let you know if there are any perks with Virgin. Virgin is such a hard cruise line to tell what your perks are until I can get in the back of the system and book it. Then, if you're not able to make it this year, 2026, Jen Danielle, Sig the Solo Cruiser, and we are teaming up for the ultimate solo group cruise. And that's on Celebrity Reflection, June 22nd to 26th. We're on to Bimini, and we're going to, where else are we going? Hideaway, Perfect Day, Coco Cay. I know people are like, Bimini, blah. It's okay. We just want to keep it a short cruise, but we have an action-packed agenda, and we have already opened up the Facebook group for the people who booked so far. Deposits are $100 for that one. So come join us there. Then, if I am planning for the Good Government Getaway 2026, I know a lot of you have signed up for the wait list. I will hit you up after the Good Gov Getaway 2025. So after Labor Day, after I get myself together, regroup. So no later than October, I'm gonna hit you up about the details. But we are going to Epcot, which should be Epcot Food and Wine for 2026. It's gonna be a meetup, so you can book anyone, how you ever want you to book, or you can book through me. We're going October 9th through 11th, 2026. We're going to eat and drink around the world together and meet up in Orlando. So if you're interested, just scan that QR code there. I have a Ships and Scripts, which is basically an online community, which I got to pump a little life into that one. And then, of course, I have not added it yet, but I am hosting the Ultimate Land and Sea with a variety of YouTube channels. What is that? May 16th, 2027 out of New Orleans. So you can book that one through me or one of the 5 or 6 other creators that are hosting, which are, please don't let me say them all. We got Team Reach Travels. We got Parkers on the Go. We have MH Family Adventures, Sig the Solo Cruiser, Regina from the Travel Savvy Hub, and myself. We are coming together. We're pulling all of our networks together to hang out in New Orleans for a few days. So, and then hop on the ship. Alrighty, it's COC. Thanks for chatting with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Good night.